So good morning class 10th. So before we start today's class, let me recall the things which we have done yesterday. So we have started the new chapter, that is your function. So the function. So Bharat, in how many category we can categorize function in general? Wait. Bharat,
Sir, we
please.
can categorize this. So we can categorize them into three categories: mathematical functions,
Sorry.
vector
Wait.
functions.
Wait. Now,
Sir, may I tell?
no.
AI.
Shreya Rastogi.
So we can categorize the functions into three types. The function prototype
Sorry.
and function
Wait. Okay, Sarthak Pandey, now you tell.
Sir, may
No.
I?
Sarthak Pandey.
Yes, sir.
But I don't ask me. Yes, just tell me the answer. Okay, Riddhi.
Sir, may I tell again?
Can categorize functions into two categories: inbuilt methods or functions and user-defined functions or methods.
See, Riddhi, let me clear you. The function and method is the same thing. So just tell
Yes,
method
sir,
or
sir.
function. Don't tell both things, right? Both are the same thing. So absolutely correct. Listen, everybody. So we can categorize function in two category. The first is the inbuilt methods, and the second is the user-defined functions, right? Is it clear, Soumya and Rachit?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes,
now,
sir.
so I'm going to share my screen. So Aditya Mishra, next question is for you. Just
Yes, sir.
tell me the categories which we can further categorize the inbuilt functions.
So mathematical functions, character functions, string functions, and sir, there was one more which I cannot remember.
I'm waiting for that one more, please. Actually, there is no one more. Okay, these three are the more than sufficient. Now, Arisha, will you categorize or will you differentiate the string as well as the character methods? What is the difference between that?
Yes, sir. Sir, in the character methods, we can only use a single letter.
Okay.
And in the string methods, we can use a group of letters and.
Okay, that's absolutely correct. So the string methods are the methods which you can apply on a whole string. Whole string means more than one character also, as well as on one single character also. But whereas in case of character methods, these methods you can apply only on a single character. Am I clear, Kavyash Gupta, Aryan Ashok?
Yes, sir.
Any confusion till now? Okay, so now let me share my screen. I hope my screen is clear now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, yesterday I have told you in both type of function, whether it is inbuilt function or user-defined method. In both type of method, there are three categories. The first is the prototype, or you can say the declaration. The second is the function definition, and the third is function calling. So these three are the basic parts. These are the three basic parts in both, or you can say in all types of functions, whether it is user defined or whether it is prototype. So now the first one is the function prototype, or you can say the function declaration. What is this? It is the first line of the function which tells about the method, like name of the method, what type of value your function is going to return, and on how many variables and on what type of variables your function is going to work. That comes under the category function prototype, or you can say the function declaration part. Am I clear? Now the second part is the function definition. Basically this function definition part tells what working actually we are going to work in your program, and that is totally depends on your question. Am I clear, Arisha? Okay.
Yes.
Now, so the third part is the function calling. So this is very, very important. See, whatever function you have created or whatever you have made according to your requirement, or maybe the inbuilt function which is required in your program according to the requirement. So whatever function you have created, whether it is UDF, whether it is inbuilt, it doesn't matter. For execution, for executing them, we need to invoke them. Without invoking, whether you are using the inbuilt or whether you are using UDF, those things will not going to execute until unless you are not calling them. So the main thing is to call a method. So like suppose if I wanted to speak to Riddhi, so I should tell Riddhi, Riddhi beta please pay attention something else. That means I need to point out to you कि Riddhi beta listen to me. So this is the thing, with the help of name only you can call them to whom you wanted to talk. So invoking is very, very important. So after creating a function, if you are not invoking, that means that function is not going to execute. Am I clear till here?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So now,
Yes, sir.
so the whole thing, the function UDF part, that user defined function, which we are going to start, that I am going to explain with the help of a small example. So just write down a question first. For example, write a function WAF to print area of rectangle. This is the question, just write down. Write a function to print area of rectangle. So here the write a function means using UDF. Using UDF. UDF stands for user defined function. Please note down this question in your notebook. Written, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now this example I am going to explain in the text pad only. Just give me a minute. Do not copy, just wait. Ishika Singh, but please join on time. You are joining very late at 11:10. Okay, now, so whenever you are having a question in which we are supposed to apply the concept of UDF. So first of all, everybody please pay attention. The basic program, whatever you are writing, like you are starting the program from here, import java.util.st. So whenever you are taking input, this line is must, that everybody knows, right? After that, we were writing the class name, that is like class, then function class name I am using here UDF1. After that, this curly braces. So now, after writing this, opening curly braces, now here after this, we are supposed to write the function prototype. So I told you initially, the function prototype is the first line of the function. It tells about the function. And now, first of all, it tells about the return type. Means in the function prototype, if you remember, we were starting the syntax from the return type, and that return type is very, very important. So here, first of all, we are supposed to write the return type. So for writing the return type, first of all, we should understand ki what type of value your program is going to generate. And the question is here, we are supposed to generate the area of rectangle, right? So the area of rectangle, that formula everybody knows, that is your AR equals to, that everybody knows, right? So this L into B, it can be integer also, it can be double also, it can be float also, that is up to you. But we are assuming that the user is inputting the values in decimal, so that is why in that case the result must be in double only. Double means the fractional values. Am I clear till here? So what will be the output in this case? We should understand that. So the output must be in double if the input is of double type. Am I clear till here?
Yes.
So now first of all we are supposed to write the return type. So the return type I am using here double. So this double, please pay attention everyone. This double shows that this type of value your function is going to return, or you can say it is going to generate this type of value. Am I clear? So now after that we are supposed to write the name of the method. So for the naming the function, whatever you want you can, but always try to use the meaningful function name. So I am using here area of rectangle, or you can use rectangle also. That is up to you. That is up to you. Or you can use the area only. That is totally up to you. But always try to use the meaningful function name. After that, we were supposed to put the opening round bracket. So after that, in between, we are closing this also. But now, so here we are supposed to write the parameters. So please pay attention everyone. So what are the parameters that we are supposed to use according to the question? So the question is here, we are supposed to find the area of rectangle, and the formula is area equals to length into width. So here what are how many values you want? You are supposed to take input. Two values are supposed to be taken as input, that is your length and breadth. So this number of parameter, please pay attention. So this number of parameter, you can have one parameter, that means one variable as input, or two variables as input, or that depends on the question. So here how many inputs are required? Two inputs are required. So that means how many parameters are supposed to be used here? Two. And their data type must be declared with each and every one. So here we will use length and breadth as a double type. Why? Because these two double values we are supposed to take input from the user, because the question is calculate area of rectangle, in this length and breadth is required as input. So there will be only two parameter of double type. Why double type? Because we are assuming that the user can enter values in fraction also. That is why we are using here in double variables. After that, put the closing bracket. Now, so after this, we are skipping this part for a moment. Right? Now directly we are coming to this public static void main. Now there is a spelling mistake, don't worry about that. So now just come to this part. So this is very important part. So now please pay attention. This is the function prototype line. So Arisha, will you tell me how many data types we are using in this line, beta? Just count it. Pardon?
Sir, we are using double.
How many times?
So 3 times.
3 times. Absolutely fine. So here in this line, how many data types we are using? Only one data type. That is double. Like here, here and here. But how many times? 3 times. So this is very, very important everyone. So please pay attention. So after counting the variables, the data type of the variables, so here it is double 3 times. That means Now in the public static void main, we need to declare at least 3 variables of the same type, means double type, because it is there 3 times. So we are using this A, B and C. Everybody please pay attention. This is important. So this, how you will define how many variables we are supposed to declare in the public static void main method. See, this main method itself is a method which is to be there, which we are supposed to create for invoking the UDF part. So for that, first of all, we are supposed to go through the function prototype line. In the function prototype, we are looking here, double is there, that is single data type, but how many times? 3 times. So that shows that we are supposed to declare 3 minimum variable of double type. Am I clear this? After that, just focus on the parameter list. So how many parameters are there?
The two.
There are 2 parameters. So this number of parameters shows that these are the inputs. These are the inputs required from the keyboard. And in this program, we are going to take input from the keyboard. So that scanner is required as usual, like this, as we were doing earlier also. So here also we are using the same thing. Now, we are going to take input from the keyboard. So this number of parameters shows that these 2 are the inputs, and these we are supposed to take in the main method. So look at here. So now we are simply giving a message, enter length and width, and now those things we are storing in a variable in which you want to store. So I am using here okay. So now see, so this parameter list shows the number of inputs are required of these 2 types. So we have taken from the user. So after inputting those number of parameter, whatever parameter you have used. So if you have taken input in the main, so now we are supposed to call a method. So for calling a method, please pay attention everyone. So in Java, while writing a function, so if you have written something, means if you have created a function, so we are supposed to invoke. So for invoking them, please try to understand, for invoking them, basically in Java, there is a one line, that's a object creation. So how to create object of a class? So here the class name I have used UDF1. Then the variable name I am using here UDF this. So what is this line? That I will explain it later after writing the program. Okay, just give me a second, beta. So now obj dot then a comma b. So wait for another 5 minutes. After that, you will be getting, sir, what I have done here.
Sir, one question.
Don't ask now. Let me explain first, beta, na? Please give me a minute. When I will explain, after that you will feel better and there will be no, I think, no queries. Just give me 5 minutes more. Okay, so now the program I have finished. So please pay attention and let me explain. See, first of all, this is your function prototype. Note down everyone, the whole thing. This part is known as the function definition. Everyone. This is input part. And this line is very, very important here. Object creation. Object creation. And now this line is known as calling part. Calling part. And this C is a printing. Printing the result. Copied everyone?
No, sir.
Please note down.
Yes, sir.
And now please pay attention again, because now I am going to explain the whole program in next 5 minutes. So now, I am going to rub this. So now please try to understand. See, whenever you are getting a question, so first of all, the question is totally depends on the question. So now the function prototype. So first of all, after writing this class name, we are supposed to write the function over here. Basically, this function we can write here also, means after the main method. But usually we write function before we start the main method. So that is why we are writing the method in this part only. And this part is known as the global area. So here, whatever you are declaring, that is your global area, and whatever we are declaring in this global area, those things we are supposed to, for executing them, we are supposed to create object for accessing them. So now, after declaring the function prototype, so while declaring the function prototype, first of all, we are writing the function return type, then the function name, then the parameter. So this parameter is totally depends on the question. So in the question, it was area of rectangle. So that means only two variables are supposed to be taken as input. Am I clear? So that is why two parameters are required as in this parameter list. And now the return type, the result. So the question was the area of rectangle we are supposed to find. So in this question, the return type means the result must be in the double if you are using input as double type. That is why the return type I have used here double. So whenever you are writing the return type, always you need to write there like data type, that is double or int or string or char, like this only. Function name, whatever you want, you can use. Now, after that, we are leaving this part, the definition part, and directly we are coming to the main function. In the main function, we are using the scanner for inputting, that everybody knows. So if you are taking input from the keyboard, this is required. Now after that, please go through the function prototype. So there is, in the function prototype, there is only one data type of double type. And how many times it is there? 3 times. So that means 3 variables are required. Minimum 3 variables are required of double type. So now see the number of parameters. So how many parameters were there? There were 2 parameters. That means only 2 things we are supposed to take as input. And after taking the input of that type, see, the parameter was of double type. So we have taken input of double type only. This must be clear, I think, right? So now, after inputting those number of parameter, whatever it is mentioned in the function prototype, Now our time is to invoke a method. So basically in Java, initially we declare method in a simple way, that is your non-static method. Non-static method means what? That is a keyword actually. There is a keyword static which we are using here in the main method, like public static void main. So this static keyword is very important, which we are not using before return type. So if you are not using static keyword before return type of a function, that means that function is a non-static method. So what is the functioning of this, that we will discuss later. Okay, so in short, you can easily understand that here we are not using any static keyword. So this type of function, for calling this type of function, we are supposed to create a object of a class. So what is the class name? The class name was there, UDF1. Whatever function name, class name you have declared, that depends on you only. It is not mentioned in the question. So whatever you have used, using that only, for creating object, we are supposed to write the class name, that is your UDF1, then the variable name. So obj variable I am using here, just like ob, just like abc. So this is a simple variable name, or in other words you can say it is an object of a class which we are creating with the help of new keyword. So new is a operator, you can say it is used to create object of a class, like the same thing we were using in this scanner here also. In the scanner also we were creating ob object for scanner using the new keyword. Am I clear this? So why we are creating a object? Because using this obj, now we can access the method of a program, that is, and that method you have declared as non-static method in the global area. So for accessing the non-static method, we need to create a object of a class. So after creating object, so this is very important line, everybody. In each and every program, we are supposed to create a object. So after creating object, now in the next line we are going to invoke the method which you have created. So now please pay attention. So this, in this invoke part, what we have written? We have written c equals to. So why c equals to? Because see, in the function prototype, the return type of the function is double. So before calling this rectangle method, first of all, we are supposed to use this return type variable. So this variable is already there, that is c. I have already declared for calling. So now what is happening? We are calling this method like this: c equals to obj, that is your class name, sorry, object name, dot function name. The function name was rectangle. Then after that we have put this opening round bracket and then closing it, and in between this we have written two variables in which we have received input from the user. Please pay attention, everyone. In these a and b only we have taken input from the user. So the actually the user has entered length and breadth in a and b. So those values, those variables we have used here. Just a minute. So those variables we have passed here, in which we are having the values, and these values, when the compiler execute this line, automatically what will happen? From here your control moves to this part. That means the value of a and b is coming actually in L and B. So now see the difference in the UDF and the previous question which we were doing in class 9th is the main thing. This part, the working part, actually earlier we were doing in the main method, but now that main working we are going to suppose to do here in the function definition. So the value which you have entered in a and b, now it has come in L and B. So now in this function body, what we are doing? We are storing the area of rectangle in a variable z, and then ultimately we are getting the result in Z, right? And this Z is having the result. So that is why we are using the return statement for returning it. From where you are returning? From where you have invoked this method rectangle. So ultimately what is happening? The value of Z actually is coming in this C equals to Z. This part, this is actually happening in the memory part. So the value of Z is actually coming in C. So now you can see whenever you are returning, means whenever you are using the return statement in the function body. So where you are supposed to print the result? In the main method from where you have invoked a function. Am I clear this?
Yes, sir.
I hope these things are clear. So please revise these things. And time is already over, beta. So I am ending class with this only. We will revise the same thing again in the next class. Then we will start the programs. I will upload this recording in the GCR also. You can go through that. Okay. So please revise it carefully. I will explain this again in the next class. Is that clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.